Hello Divination, welcome to this tutorial where I will be showing you how to create 5 cool combinations with Divi's new font options. So I'll be showing you how to recreate each one of the examples step by step, so without any further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so before we dive into the tutorial, let's just scroll through the different examples that we'll be showing you how to recreate within this video tutorial. So here you have them. This is what they look like on desktop, and then we have the tablet version. And last but not least, the mobile version as well. All right, so let's start with the first example. So we just have a section over here, and we have the following column structure. And let's just open this text module over here. And the first thing we'll be doing is adding a gradient background to it. So I'll just open the gradient background tab. Then I'm going to change my colors. So I'm using a transparent color as my first color. And the following yellow color as my second color. And I'm going to keep a linear gradient type, 180 degrees for my gradient direction, 60% for my start position, and I'll put my end position to 0, which will allow me to create a vertical line. Then I'll move on to the Design tab, open the Text subcategory. And the first thing I will change is the text font, and I'm going to use the following font family over here. And I'm going to use a bold font weight for it. Then I'm going to change the text size, and this is going to be different for each one of the possibilities over here. So I'll start off with 100 pixels for desktop. And 62 pixels for tablet, and 38 pixels for smartphone. And I'm going to change my line height to 1 and change the text color to white. And this currently looks like this, but that's about to change once we add the text shadow. So we're going to use 0 for the horizontal and vertical length. And we're just going to add a little bit of blur strength. And use a black color as my text shadow color, and just put the text orientation to center. And here we have our result. So let's move on to the next example. And again, we have a row with 1 column over here. Of course, you can modify that to your needs. And I'm just going to open this text module over here. And move on to the Design tab. Open the Text subcategory. And I'm going to use Sophia as my font family. And I'll just keep the font weight regular, and I'm also going to add an underline to my text. And I'm going to use the following color for my underline and make it wavy. And again, I'm going to change the text size for each one of the possibilities. So I'm going to make sure it matches my desktop version, my tablet version, and my smartphone version, as you can see on the screen. And I'm also going to add some letter spacing to my text, 12 pixels, and put my text line height to 1. I'm also going to add a center text orientation and apply a text shadow as well. So I'm going to change the vertical length into 0.17. And I'm going to use a subtle blur of 0.05. And I'm also going to choose a very subtle color, which will allow the wavy underline to pop up and be double. All right, so then I'm going to open the border subcategory. And I'm going to apply a border style to the left and the right side of my text module. And both of them are going to be the same. It's going to be 11 pixels for the border width and the following color for the border style on both sides. And this is the same color as we used for the text shadow. So again, I'm repeating the same steps for the left side. And again, make sure that your border style is double. So here we have our result. All right, let's move on to the next example. And for this example, we're going to modify the section background color. We're going to use the following color code. And again, we're going to use a row with one column. And I'll immediately open the text module and change some settings. Go to the text subcategory. And first of all, I'm going to change my font into Bungee Inline. All right. And I'm going to add an underline to it as well. And that's going to be in the white color. And again, I'll need to change my text size for desktop, tablet, and smartphone. So each one is going to be a little bit different. And I'm also going to change my color into the same color as I used for the section background. And I'll put my text line height to 1. And to still make my text show up, I'm going to enable the text shadow option over here. I'm going to use 0 for both the horizontal and vertical length, and 0.05 for the blur strength. And I'm going to use a black color for my text shadow as well, and put my text orientation to center. So here we have the results. Let's move on to the next example. So again, we're using a row with one column, and I'm going to open this text module over here. And I'll move on to the background subcategory and add the following color as my background color. Then I'll open the text subcategory within the design tab and change my font family into Ribe Marrow. And I'm going to add a strike through to my text. And we're going to use a half transparent color, and we're going to make the strike through double. Next, I'm going to change the text size. And again, this is going to be different for each one of the options. So 78 pixels for the desktop version, 46 pixels for the tablet version, and 31 pixels for the smartphone version. Then I'm going to add black as my text color and change the text line height to 1.1. All right, next I'll open the spacing subcategory. Again, we're going to make sure that the text orientation is placed centrally. So I'm going to continue by adding 15 pixels to the top and bottom padding. Then I'll open the border subcategory and I'll add 100 pixels to each one of the corners. And then I'm also going to add a border style, and that's going to be 4 pixels for the border width. And we're going to apply this border to each one of the sides. And we're using the same border color as we did for the strike through, and we're going to use double as our border style. All right, so here we have the result. Let's move on to the next and last example. And again, we're using a row with 1 column over here. So let me just open this text module. And we're going to start off by adding a gradient background. And we're using the following color as our first color. And a transparent color as our second color. And when we scroll down, we're going to keep linear as our gradient type, 180 degrees for our gradient direction, 48% for our start position, and 0% for our end position. Then we'll move on to the design tab, open the text subcategory. And the first thing we'll do is change the font family over here into Cody Star. And we're going to change the font weight into bold. Next, we'll need to change the text size. And again, this is going to be different for each one of the options. So 60 pixels for the desktop, 35 pixels for tablet, and 22 pixels for smartphone. All right, so here we have the results up until now. And next, we're going to change the text color into the following color code and put our text line height to 1.1 and use centered text orientation. Next, we'll open the sizing subcategory, and we're going to match the width of our text module to the text that we've provided within the content box of the text module. So again, this is going to be different for each one of the options. And of course, you have to match the width to the text that you are providing. All right. And make sure that the module alignment is centered as well. Next, move on to the spacing subcategory and add 15 pixels to the top and bottom custom padding. Then move on to the border subcategory, and we're going to make use of different types of rounded corners. So we're going to add 500 pixels to the top left corner and to the bottom right corner as well. And we're going to add 20 pixels to the bottom left corner and top right corner. And then we'll also make use of a top border style of 2 pixels. And we're going to use the following color code for that. And we're also going to make this border style double. Last but not least, let's move on to the box shadow subcategory. We're going to use 5 pixels for our horizontal position, minus 10 pixels for our vertical position, 0 pixels for the blur strength, and 2 pixels for the spread strength. And we're going to use the same color but just a little bit darker as we did for the first color of our gradient background, and we're going to make sure it's an outer shadow. So here we have the result. Now let's scroll through the different examples that we've shown you how to recreate. So this is the desktop version, and we have the tablet version and the mobile version as well. Well, that was all for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to our social media channels so you'll get a notification every time we have something new for you. Thanks again for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.